gonna be a little YouTuber? Baby.
Documentary of Velocity 55 Studios.
Hey everybody, I'm Paintball Dad here with Paintball Son, and today I'm going to show you guys how to do a little bit of routine tank maintenance. Now, the reason I'm going over this topic is because recently I discovered that one of my paintball tanks has a leak somewhere in the regulator. I don't know where exactly it is because the leak is so tiny that you really can't hear it leaking. It's only like after a few days I noticed that the pressure in my tank goes down. So this tank was filled up last weekend and now it's back down to 0. This tank I have here was filled up last weekend and it's still holding at about like 2000 psi. So this one is good to go. This one needs to be either rebuilt or replaced. Now, while I was looking into how to, fix a paintball tank, I also started educating myself a little bit about PSIs, and I learned that a lot of modern high-end paintball guns actually operate better under lower pressure than what most paintball regulators come out of the box as. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later once I start, showing you guys what I'm doing to rebuild these tank regs. Okay, so here's the plan. I've got my 2 tanks right here, and I've got a bunch of spare parts right here. Here I have a regulator. This one's from HK. This is the HK, I think it's the MP5, the MP5. So what I learned after researching a little bit of information about regs is that, like I was saying before, a lot of modern high-end paintball guns, like Planet Eclipse guns, actually operate better with lower PSI than what most regs come built for. So most regs will come out of the box at like 800 PSI output. This one right here is out of the box a 500 PSI output. This is actually within the range of what Planet Eclipse recommends as their like optimal pressure output for most of their high-end guns, like the LV series, the Geo series, and I think a couple of other ones. So since this tank is the one that I use most often for competitions, I'm going to put this regulator on it and then I'm going to test it out later today. And then since I have to depressurize this one to take the regulator off, I'm going to most likely switch it to this tank, but I also want to try and rebuild this tank. So I did buy a bunch of spare parts. I bought another pressure gauge, I bought a new bonnet, and I bought a couple of burst discs. I only got the high pressure burst discs, the 7.5K. I'm still waiting on the 1.8K, I think it is. Yeah, the 1.8K to come in the mail, but I can at least replace most of these parts and hopefully isolate the area where the leak is coming from, because like I said, the leak is so tiny I can't hear anything leaking when I fill it up with air. It's only after like a few days that I realize the pressure is actually dropping in the tank. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how I take apart these pieces because here's the thing, I actually have a really cool tool. I have a tool that is specially designed for taking apart regs, but I can't show it to you guys yet because it's still in beta testing from one of my sponsors. But in a couple of weeks, hopefully that'll be out of beta testing and I'll be able to do a full video on that reg tool kit. So let's start by getting to work on this tank. I'm going to take apart all of the pieces from the reg. I'm going to take off the gauge, take off the burst disc, and even take off the bonnet and see if I can maybe just by chance change out the part that has the tiny leak in it. Okay, so immediately the first thing I took apart was the high pressure burst disc, and I did find that this little piece on the inside of the burst disc was actually loose. Like it just easily comes out of the burst disc. I don't think that's supposed to happen, so maybe this is where the leak was, but we'll see once I keep replacing more parts. Now I'm trying something new here as well. I actually saw this on a video from ansgear.com where they were showing how to actually wrap this Teflon tape, yellow Teflon tape, around the threads of your pressure gauge. I've never done this before, but it was recommended in the video that I saw, so I did exactly what they showed. I got yellow Teflon tape, cut it in half so that it was thin enough that I can wrap it around the threads without covering the little air hole right there, and then of course make sure that it's wrapped in the same direction that it would screw into the tank reg. Okay, another thing I noticed is that as I took the reg off of the tank, I noticed that this O-ring that's supposed to be like flushed down here was all the way down here. Maybe this O-ring is going bad, so I'm gonna pull the O-ring from one of my old regs that is still in good condition and see if replacing this ring right here will also do the trick. Okay, so here's something very interesting that I just found out. I've always known that this reg that I have here was very short. And the reason I realized that why it's so short now is because it does not have a bonnet. I bought a bonnet to try and replace the bonnet on my reg, so here's what a bonnet is. If you look at this reg, this is a full-size regulator. This piece up here at the top half is the bonnet. So that I would have replaced that in case there was a leak somewhere in there, but I guess this reg does not have a bonnet at all, so there's nothing really that I can use this to replace on this reg. Really all I can do at this point is just the pressure gauge and the burst disc. So I'm gonna continue with that and see if it makes a difference. Okay, so now I'm pretty much done with this one. I put in the new pressure gauge and new burst disc, and that's all I really can do. So this one's done. Now I'm gonna change out the reg on my other tank. Okay, so I've taken all the air out of this tank, and in case I didn't mention that before, you should always make sure that these tanks do not have any air in them at all before you start working on them. Make sure that you can press in the little ball valve right there without any pressure coming out, and that's how you know it's empty. And you might be wondering, why did I buy a new reg when I have a good working reg, and it's also a high quality reg. This is the HK Aerolite 2, and this is actually one of those adjustable regs where I could adjust the pressure on it, but I just figured, just to be safe, let me get a brand new reg so I know I have at least two good working regs for both of my tanks, just in case I can't fix the one that's broken. Alright, now I've got the new MP5 reg on my HK tank right here, and later today I'm going to go to my local field Trigger Time Paintball and test out these two tanks. Alright, so now my trigger time, I'm going to be filling up my tanks, starting out with the black HK one and then this blue one that I rebuilt. $2K? Alright.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so this one's holding pressure right now, but we'll see by the end of the day if it's still at that same level, like just a little bit under 2, like 1.75. We'll check it later at the end of the day, see if it's holding air. Alright, now we're going to test out this new reg on my Go4. Like I said, the main selling point of this reg right here is that it came preset at the optimized output for Planet Eclipse guns like the Go4. Alright, I've got my gun set up with the new tank. Let's go test it out. Alright, so I actually was not able to fix the leak in the other reg, so I just switched back to my HK Aerolite 2 reg for this blue tank. I know this one works, but I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't able to fix the other broken reg. Well, even though I wasn't able to fix my old reg, I am glad that I was able to get a new reg for my tank and install it myself. I'm actually really happy that I have this tool, and again, like in a few weeks when this tool is out of its beta phase, I really can't wait to show you guys what exactly it looks like and what it's able to do, because this is a really helpful thing to have. Being able to do some like tank maintenance, reg maintenance at home is just super convenient. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.